Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Looking at some names that had recent earnings: Google, Amazon, and GoPro. So Google and Amazon trade fairly correlated, and seeing some Facebook correlation in there as well. But looking at Google, we had a bullish reversal candlestick after a 2-day dump following their earnings, and that bullish reversal candlestick was not confirmed. So as soon as we see that happen, we know that the bulls haven't really proved anything to us yet, and we know to be cautious looking bullish because the bears are still in control. We did see a little bit of a base of support built, 812.25, 812.05, and now the bulls are trying to see some upside, but it was a very weak Friday after a promising start to the day, and both Thursday and Friday had promising starts that didn't really materialize, and we closed down fairly close to the low. We are rejecting from some exponential resistance on the daily time frame, and the bulls, again, have not proven themselves. We haven't seen a strong close since the earnings have come out, so being cautious, looking for a bounce, but we do still have the overall higher-low uptrend still very much in control on the daily time frame. There's a difference between GOOGL and GOOG, just to look at it really quickly. And for GOOG, I like it a little bit better just because we have higher lows each of these 3 days where we're building a base. So 790.52, 791.19, 792. And again, checking back on GOOGL, we had a little bit of lower lows, not clearly as bullish of consolidation building that base. So the weekly time frame, huge upper wick of profit taking after earnings, follow through to the downside, but very clearly we are still holding higher lows, and there's an uptrend line that we can draw here to be keeping an eye on, and hitting the lows of the real bodies of the red candlesticks would have it up here. So we're still well above that line, and that's where I would put it. And also watching the weekly middle Bollinger Band, which is 805.52. So still looking for the bulls to show up. The markets are really strong, but again, Google bulls have not proven anything to us yet. Get above the daily middle Bollinger Band of 831.49 and I'll become a believer. Amazon has also seen a gap down in reaction to earnings, and on that bounce attempt, we saw the bulls right out of the gate on Friday. We rejected from the middle Bollinger Band daily resistance. That's 817.07, and there's an upper wick of profit taking from that level. So $800 psychological level did hold, as did this base of support that was built. We built a base with the low of this consolidation, 803.44. So this is currently a higher low of 804. We'll see if the bulls can hold that support of 804 to start next week. There's a gap to fill up to 828.26. But again, need to see a base of support and some strength. We need to see closes up near the highs to indicate that the bulls have some momentum. Weekly time frame, little bit of a double top with this all-time high. Need to be weary of that. And if we draw a resistance line where the highest weekly candlestick closed, we can see the past 2 weeks we have rejected from that level. So all-time high 847.21, lower high 843.84. Question now is going to be, how much pullback do we get? Technically speaking, the psychology is there for a potential cup and handle pattern with the high on the left side, a lower high on the right side, and now consolidation would be the handle of the cup, and then we'd have to see a breakout to new all-time highs for that to be confirmed. But at this point, I would not be anticipating that pattern. We'll see how the consolidation goes, and if it's normal and healthy. The cup and handle pattern is very often misused, and you can see a lot of technical analysts or traders with bias try and shape it to fit their argument. And very often you do not see this pattern follow through. I would say it follows through maybe even 1 out of 8, 1 out of 10 times. It's not that often. So keeping an eye on it, but not making any decisions based on that pattern happening. GoPro, big gap down. We had built stair steps higher on this bounce playing out. So nice follow through to the upside for the bulls. We were playing it on the way up leading up into earnings, but a big gap down, still maintaining a couple levels of support before we approach the all-time low. So we've got 854, 865, 889, and the most recent or the closest support to be looking at is down at 912. The low of the day on Friday, 940, that will also be a support we look to. And we did fill this gap to the downside. That was at 947. So that gap has been filled. I don't see any gaps to the downside on the daily time frame, but we obviously have a gap back up to 1059. So if the bulls can get above the middle Bollinger Band daily resistance of 972, we will look to start filling this gap. You can see we're in that little tight channel. 50-day support of 944, middle Bollinger Band resistance of 972. I'll be watching to see how the price reacts to those two levels on Monday to get some indication of where the short-term momentum is heading. Very clear upper wick, and we can't lose sight that GoPro is in one terrible downtrend for a very long time. And let's zoom out and get a brief glimpse of that. So we need to anticipate bounces to be short-lived because since inception, that has been the trend. Once we hit the high of those very exuberant, over-exuberant bulls, and it just collapsed, we have lower highs forming. So to break that trend, step number one is going to have to be to get over the recent high, and that's 1110. And then another high would be 1768. Get over 1768, and the trend will be changing to favor the bulls, but that is almost 100% away from where we currently stand. So a double bottom down at the all-time low. We did get a new all-time low here at the end of 2016, but the bulls did buy that dip. So we are still looking at some strong support in the 850s, but that is an absolute must-hold level for the bulls. Otherwise, we are in the opposite of a blue sky breakout with no support levels or price action to be looking at, all psychological levels on the way down. So a big bearish reversal candlestick after a month bounce. Question is going to be, can the bulls form a higher low compared to these mid $8 levels and try and turn around the trend? And Monday will be very telling to let us know where the short-term momentum is heading. I appreciate you watching and hope you have a great weekend. See you soon.